Marshmallow Fanboy back with another review, this time of G.I. Joe Classified Series Mass Device figures. All of them. I've got the single pack, the animal pack, and the 2-pack. Of course, when these guys came out on a Target site, I was late to the party and they were sold out. But luckily, Target made them available for a long time after they came out, so I was able to get them. Starting with Breaker. Classic Breaker has the bubblegum chewing head, and of course the pieces of the meteorite for the mass device, and then Snake Eyes on the polar bear, which is similar to the I believe it was Super 7, or it had to be Super 7, the reaction figures, or the reaction figures had the sled and the dogs and Snake Eyes with the pink hands and the parts of the radioactive crystal. That was really cool. I think the Ultimates figure of Snake Eyes had parts to make him radioactive. Also, didn't have a polar bear. Neither of them had a polar bear, but that's super cool that he has a polar bear. He was easy to get. He was not a Target exclusive, so very easy to get. As far as the divers, they were also difficult to get. I had to wait until they were out, and now they've been continuously out for a long time. It's really cool. The Cobra logo on the chest, the G.I. Joe logo on the chest. You're getting 2 different portraits so that you can get 2 more of these, or 1 more of these, and have all of the... No, you can get more than that. You can get... If you get another one, you can make the white variation here and the black variation here. You get another one, you can put a mask on each of them. So if you got 3 of them, you can make all of the different features on them. Of course, if you just make them, one color or the other, you can sort of still army build them and just pretend they're different guys. or you could pretend they're clones. They are the Boba Fetts of the G.I. Joe force and the Cobra force. That's right. If Cobra can put together Serpentor, then G.I. Joe can put together a diver. Dagnabbit. That whole premise was bad. And then of course they come with the heavy element. No build-a-figure pieces to make a mass device. I get how a real mass device would be just enormous. But they did in 2008 put out a 25th anniversary figure line that had a mass device that was small. It was out of scale, but it was still really cool to have. And I wish they'd have done something like that with this series. It would have been really cool to have maybe pieces, or it would have been really great to have them sell the mass device maybe on Hasbro's site. Of course, as I say that, Hasbro's had some... I've been frustrated with the Pulse site because I don't know that things are getting released and then they come out and they sell out and they just stay sold out. They don't come back into stock again. So it's been a little frustrating. And then I have to buy something from a scalper on eBay. So if you can't beat them, you got to buy from them. And I like to beat them. But I had to buy from them this time, a couple times this year. So that is the figures in the package. They're really cool. I didn't flip them around, but it's Breaker with the pieces of the meteorite. Very cool. He has a hidden down below here. He has what I'm imagining is his communications pack. Of course, Snake Eyes with the radioactive crystals, a housing for them, and of course he has normal hands, which are before he grabs the crystals, and then he has after crystal hands, and that is just a really cool picture. It's got the polar bear. It's got different panels to show injury and things. I think he might come with the trap that Snake Eyes freed him from, but I'm not sure. I don't see the trap in there. The polar bear could be blocking my view of that. And I like the different gear, like the propeller for the Cobra guy, and the machete and the spear gun for the Joe. I like that they have different equipment and it looks different. It's not all sort of the same. This is a great figure 2-pack. I think, yeah, this is great. The 25th anniversary had a red Cobra Diver. It was Baroness in a Cobra Diver outfit, and that would have been cool too as a single pack. I wouldn't have traded this. This was very cool. I do like that they're spread out. I do like that it's an army builder and you can buy 3 and get 3 of each. I think that's really cool. I like that a lot. That would be really difficult to do without figure stands, but of course Cobra has the heavy element and he's fighting without his the little propeller thing that Cobra has. Cobra Diver can just dive away. All he's got is he's got a knife and a machete, and he's the only one with something that's propelled. So he could just swim away. He'd be like, "You could machete the air. I'm out of here." Of course, the tube worms from the cartoon. That's very cool. So these guys look amazing in the package. Let's break them out and see what we think of them in person. Now that they're out of the packages, let's take a closer look at the G.I. Joe mass device figures. First, let's start from, let's see, Snake Eyes. In addition to the sort of the gun hand and the command hand, sort of the chopping hand, and the radiated crystals that he's holding in his hand, because I think Snake Eyes collects the crystals in that container to sort of block the radiation, but he's forced back into that cave by I think the snake armors. They were in the wall. I can't remember. But eventually they put the irradiated crystals in that container. But he has 2 regular hands that are both gun hands, which is fine for Snake Eyes. And he's got a couple pairs of the irradiated hands. So he's got 2 trigger hands, 2 command hands. You can't see that. But that's kind of the other command hand. He's got a trigger hand. 2 of them, in fact. And he has 2 fists for punching. Irradiated. In addition to the ferocious face that the polar bear is wearing, he came with this more tame sort of expression. It's still ferocious. Still has sort of a scar on the eye and everything. But it's a little less angry. But I decided on the angry one. He has a bear trap also, which is the way Snake Eyes met him was he freed him from the bear trap. And the bear trap is movable, so you can display it, regular, or you can deploy it however you want to. And the chain is sort of connected by a pin, so you can rotate the chain just a little bit so that you can lay it however you'd like it. I don't know if, let's see. No, okay. So I was like, is there like an action feature? No, there isn't. That would be weird. So that's the bear trap. There is a panel on the polar bear that you can take off, and you can replace it with this for the arrows in its side, or the tranquilizer darts. Comes with the definitive G.I. Joe weapon, which was the one that they all used in the G.I. Joe cartoon, which was this. The G.I. Joe diver comes with one too, but it has a yellow stock on it. And of course, the radiated crystals, which were Snake Eyes'. Of course, all of the radiated crystals have the little thing that comes off, and all of them, like the heavy water and everything else, has a little pin, and you can take it off, and this is the base. Dr. Mindbender had these. This was Dr. Mindbender's base. And they're just reusing it for the mass device. But this was where sort of the zombie hand plugged in, or the desiccated hand plugged in. And this is where the thing goes over. But this is absolute reuse of Dr. Mindbender, who I just reviewed last week. Of course, by the time this airs, it could have aired out of order. So if Dr. Mindbender's not up yet, then just know that that's the order I recorded in. As for Snake Eyes himself, he's got the canister with the irradiated crystals, which is very cool. I don't know if this is reused from another figure. I don't recognize the device, but he came with a pistol that I put in his holster and the knife that I put in his sheath. Small knife, and I put it in a giant sheath because that's what I had was the giant sheath. Am I supposed to put it in his no, it doesn't have any room for a knife there. No, so it goes in that giant slot. I think he started his life as maybe a Cobra trooper. His pants look awful familiar. Comes with this little pistol, which is very cool. And that fits right into the holster really nicely. Of course, the place where you would put the silencer or the suppressor being empty is a real good indication that this is a repaint either from a previous Snake Eyes or someone else. But I love the color. I love the deep purple of it with the light purple. It's very cartoon like. Love that on the goggles and on the head. I just like this figure a whole lot. I think there's a few definitive looks for Snake Eyes in the animated series. This is one of them. As for the polar bear, he's just amazing. He's got a lot of character, a lot of flexibility, a lot of things you can do with the joints. He's got ball joints. He's got you can see the ball joint right down there. It's very cool. And then he's got that panel that comes off that you can replace with the other panel. That's gross. I wouldn't display it like that. But you absolutely could. But you could put the other panel in it with the arrows in it. I'm just not going to because I don't want my polar bear harmed. And the legs have the same. They're ball jointed. When you open the package, they're off. The legs are off. And I think they're off to save space. I don't know. They close in really tight. So I don't know if it's for that or I'm just not sure why. But the paint is really nice. There's at least 3 or 4 different whites, like a kind of a real close to gray, and then kind of a brighter, and then sort of a yellowish white, and then a white stripe down the middle. That's a little bit brighter, a little bit darker, going toward the nape of the neck. It's really cool. And of course, the fact that he can stand up on his own is really just a great detail from the team, because he looks absolutely ferocious. And Snake Eyes isn't the only person who has gone up against a polar bear. I mean, he'd look great in a scene with Wolverine or, the Hulk, or just about any big figure that you have on your shelf. Go toe to toe with a polar bear. So keep that in mind. The polar bear is awesome. He's got like joints in his fingers too, so he can, pose out a little bit better. It's super cool. The sculpting is amazing. It's just an amazing. G.I. Joe team is doing an amazing job with the animals. Of course, Breaker comes with probably his most requested accessory, which is the bubble gum. It's a popular look from, I don't know if it was from the cartoon, but it was definitely in the comic book. It comes with the heavy element, the meteorite crystal, or the meteorite particles. And of course, he comes with a regular Breaker face, which is this one. I'm not sure this is reused from the Ram cycle, which was also a Target exclusive. So far, all the Breakers have been Target exclusives. Is that on purpose? He has a pistol with a suppressor. I don't think that's a silencer. I think that's just meant to keep the gun from jerking around. And then he has this data pad on his chest that you can fold out. See if you can see that. Folds out, and then there's a little bit of a readout so that he's in the know at all times. Of course, he's got his backpack, which has the antenna you can put anywhere. The backpack's also stable on the ground, so it doesn't fall over. So he can be working with it at a crouch or something like that. Also, the helmet comes right off. So the helmet comes right off and either goes on this head or the head that we've already seen. But he does come with, let's see, the pistol. He had a knife too. Oh, it's right there in his upper holster. Comes with that knife. The watch has a hit of sort of a shiny blue, which is probably supposed to be his Joe Pro, but it's pictured prominently on the back of the package also. But that is a really great breaker. If you already have breaker, you don't have him blowing a bubble. So you're going to have to get him again. As for the G.I. Joe and the Cobra divers, they're almost the same. They have a couple different accessories. No, they're pretty much the same. Same knife setup. Same. He has a yellow stock submachine gun, and the red one has just one without any color in it, but it's the same machine gun. The Joe has the Joe weapon, the laser rifle with the yellow stock, and the Cobra has the sort of an electronic shotgun. I don't think it fires bullets, but it has that narrow blue slit there. He's carrying his machete, but on the Joe, I put the machete here in the holster on his side. And of course, he's carrying the submachine gun. He's got the backpack and the mask. He's just not wearing them. And that is all for the G.I. Joe one, except for his spear gun, which I didn't have anybody carry their spear gun. I probably No, that trigger guard looks like a nightmare to put a finger through. And of course, the white expression for the G.I. Joe diver. As for the Cobra diver, he has a ton of accessories. He has all the same stuff like the knife and the machete, and he has the differences are the shotgun. He has a spear gun just like the G.I. Joe diver had. If you can see that. The spear gun. He also, I showed you the machine gun that the Joe had in his hand and the Cobra does not. And the alternate expression for him. And see, this weapon was unique to the Cobra diver. That's very cool. And of course, this, which they're meant to sort of hold on with their hands and then kind of go shooting off. So he doesn't ride it or anything. So I'm not sure how it's kind of used, but in the cartoon it just seemed like you held on to the handles, and maybe you held on to it this way, and it just, except that there's a monitor here, which suggests that your head would be over here so you could see this and this. So yeah, that's the way that I think that you use it. I think that's probably the way they used it in the cartoon. It's been a while. But of course he comes with the heavy water element also, which just like the others, the glass comes off, the heavy element comes off, and then it could just be an empty container. But this guy's really cool. The flippers for both of them were on the back of or sort of the cardboard backing that was in with the bubbles. So be careful, don't throw that stuff away. The same with the polar bear. Some of the stuff came on that backing card and not on the bubble. So don't accidentally throw that stuff away. Breaker, everything came on the one bubble. So we're good to go with Breaker. But that was the Mass Device collection. All 5 figures. And that's really cool. It's a really nice way to go through 2025 getting all of these figures at the same time. I really enjoyed I've enjoyed adding them to my collection. Breaker, there's no way he's cartoon accurate at all. No way. But because they didn't have that stuff, that's the modern take on Breaker. And I'm pretty sure it's from the RAM. So I'm sure that Breaker's not cartoon accurate at all, but he's still blowing a bubble, so I don't care. So until next time, enjoy your toys.